Cost-push inflation occurs when rising production costs force firms to increase prices, even when consumer demand remains unchanged. Unlike demand pull inflation, this type of inflation is driven by supply-side pressure. Unlike demand pull inflation, this type of inflation is driven by supply-side pressure. The main causes of cost-push inflation include rising energy prices, such as fuel and electricity, which increase transportation and manufacturing costs, higher wages, especially when labor shortage exists, increased prices of raw material, including food commodities and industrial input, supply chain disruption caused by global conflict, pandemics, or trade restriction. As businesses face higher operating costs, they pass this cost on to consumers, leading to a general rise in price level. I will talk about economic impact of cost-push inflation across key sectors. Cost-push inflation affect the economy unevenly across different sectors. Firstly, manufacturing sector. In the manufacturing sector, higher raw material and energy costs increase production expenses. Small and medium enterprises, in particular, struggle to absorb these costs, leading to reduced output, higher product prices, or even business closure. Furthermore, agriculture and food sector. Rising fertilizer, fuel, and transportation costs significantly affect agriculture production. As a result, food prices increase, contributing to food inflation, which indirectly impact household living costs, especially for low-income groups. And lastly, service sector. In the service sector, rising wages and utility costs increase operating expenses. Businesses such as healthcare provider, education institution, and hospitality services may raise fees, reducing consumer affordability and access to essential services. Policy recommendation to address cost-push inflation. To effectively manage cost-push inflation, government should focus on supply side and structural policy rather than demand suppression alone. One of the points for policy recommendation to address cost-push inflation. One of them is supply-side policy measure. Government can invest in infrastructure, logistics, and technology to improve productivity and reduce production costs, which encouraging automation and skill training, and helps firms absorb rising wage costs without increasing prices. Secondly, energy price stabilization. Energy price volatility can be addressed through targeted fuel subsidies, price stabilization mechanism, or investment in renewable energy to reduce dependence on imported fuel. Furthermore, it can strengthen supply chain, diversifying supply sources and improving domestic production capacity can reduce reliance on external suppliers and minimize disruption. Thirdly, it is a coordinated monetary and fiscal policy, which central banks should coordinate with fiscal authorities to ensure inflation control measures do not excessively slow economic growth, especially when inflation is supply-driven.
Next, I would like to discuss the next issue, which is imported good inflation. Imported inflation happens when the price of goods and services that we bring in from other countries increase. In Malaysia, this issue has become more noticeable due to global economic pressure.
According to the STAR in 2025, global trade policies such as US import tariff and trade barriers have contributed to higher cost of imported goods. When this cost rises, Malaysian businesses and consumers eventually feel the impact through the higher price. In addition, Malaysia relies heavily on imported essential goods, including food items and raw materials. When ringgit weakens, the cost of these imports increase even more. This makes Malaysians vulnerable to price fluctuation in the global market, especially during periods of global uncertainty. Data from the Department of Statistics Malaysia show that Malaysian inflation rate remained at 1.7% in January 2025, which considered moderate. However, the concern is that continued import inflation could push prices higher over time, particularly for essential goods such as food. In conclusion, while current inflation level remain manageable, imported good inflation poses a long-term risk if not addressed. It could increase the cost of living and place financial pressure on households and businesses in Malaysia.
Next, I would like to highlight the strain on lower and middle income households. When the price of imported goods increase, these households are often the most affected because a large portion of their income is spent on essential items such as food and daily necessities. Even small price increase can have a significant impact on their monthly budgets.
According to the Federation of Nation Consumers Association, rising import costs, including those caused by US tariff, may lead to price increases for everyday goods. As the cost of essentials continues to rise, some families may resort to borrowing money or using credit to meet their basic needs. This situation exposes them to higher financial risks and debt, affecting not only their current quality of life but also their long-term financial stability. In conclusion, this rising imported goods price place serious pressure on lower and middle income households and highlight the need for effective cost of living measures.
As for recommendations, the government can revise the sales tax and expand the service tax as reported by Reuters in 2025. One effective approach is to impose higher taxes on non-essential imported goods. This can help reduce Malaysian dependence on imports and encourage consumers to shift toward local product alternative.
I will explain about market monopolies in Malaysia and how they influence the increase in prices of goods and services that we experience in our daily lives. First, let us understand what a market monopoly is. A monopoly occurs when one company or a small group of companies dominates a market, leaving consumers with very limited choices. When competition is weak, firms gain greater control over prices, supply, and service quality.
One major cause of market monopoly in Malaysia is the strong involvement of government-linked companies. Many strategic industries, such as electricity, water services, and public transportation, are dominated by these companies. For example, Tenaga Nasional Berhad has long been the primary provider of electricity in Peninsular Malaysia. Although such monopolies are often justified on the grounds of national interest and stable service provision, they can reduce competitive pressure, leading to higher prices and less incentive for innovation. Another contributing factor is the high barriers to entry. In industries like telecommunications and aviation, new firms face significant capital requirements, strict regulations, and limited access to infrastructure. These barriers discourage new competitors from entering the market, allowing existing firms to maintain dominant positions. As a result, consumers may have fewer choices and limited bargaining power.
A market monopoly exists when a single firm or a small group of firms dominate an industry, limiting competition. In Malaysia, monopolistic or near-monopolistic conditions can be observed in sectors such as utilities, transportation, telecommunications, and essential goods. This can cause many things such as higher prices for consumer, limiting consumer choices, and causes social income inequality, as well as barriers to small and medium enterprises.
Dominant firms often have the power to set higher prices due to the lack of competition. Consumers may also face limited choices and lower quality goods or services. For instance, in monopolized or highly concentrated markets, companies may have less incentive to improve customer service or to introduce innovative products, as consumers have fewer alternatives. Another important implication is reduced competition and innovation. When monopolies dominate the market, potential competitors face high barriers to entry, such as large capital requirement, strict regulations, or limited access to infrastructure. This discourages new businesses from entering the market, leading to a less dynamic economy. Innovation may slow down because monopolistic firms do not feel pressured to invest in research and development to remain competitive.
While monopolies may exist in certain strategic sectors, excessive market dominance can harm consumers, limiting competition and slowing economic growth. Therefore, effective solutions are necessary to ensure a fair and competitive market environment.
One of the key recommendations is to reduce barriers to market entry. The government can simplify licensing procedures, lower regulatory hurdles, and provide financial or technical support to new and small businesses. By encouraging more firms to enter the market, competition can increase, leading to better prices, improved quality, and greater innovation. Special attention should be given to supporting small and medium enterprises, which play a vital role in economic growth.
Government policy and subsidies change affect the search of price and good and service. It directly influences the price we pay for daily necessity. Subsidies are financial assistance provided by government to reduce costs of goods and services. What are subsidy change? Subsidy change occur when the government reduce or remove existing subsidies, introduce targeted subsidies, and change tax structure or price regulation. These changes are often implemented to reduce government spending, improve fiscal sustainability, and encourage efficient use of resources. When subsidies are reduced or removed, the production and transportation costs will be increased, and the businesses pass this higher cost to consumer, and price of goods and services will rise. For example, fuel subsidy reduction increase the transportation cost, which then raise food prices and services charge. Government policies and subsidies play a crucial role in shaping economic stability, social welfare, and public service delivery. Through subsidies, government aim to reduce the cost of essential goods and services, support vulnerable population, and promote national development objectives. Households must spend more to maintain the same standard of living. Low and middle income groups are most affected because a large portion of their income is spent on essential items such as food, rent, and utilities. Change in government policies and subsidy can also lead to inflation. As production costs increase, prices rise across many sectors. And also the businesses, especially small and medium enterprise, face higher operating costs due to increased fuel prices, higher electricity tariff, and more expensive raw materials. To survive, businesses may increase price, reduce production, or cut employment. Change in government policies, particularly the restructuring or reduction of subsidies, are often introduced to reduce fiscal burdens, improve economic efficiency, and encourage responsible consumption. The government should implement subsidy reform gradually. Sudden removal of subsidies can shock the economy and burden households. A phased approach allows consumers and businesses time to adjust, helping to control inflation and reduce public dissatisfaction. Second, the government should introduce targeted subsidies and direct cash assistance. Instead of giving subsidies to everyone, assistance should focus on low-income and vulnerable groups. This ensures to help reach those who need it most while reducing government wastage. And lastly, support for small and medium enterprises should be strengthened. SMEs face higher operating costs due to rising fuel and utility prices. Temporary tax relief, energy rebates, or low-interest loan can help them survive without passing costs to consumers.
One often overlooked reason behind rising prices is the improvement in quality and value of goods and services. When products are enhanced, such as smartphones with faster processor, better cameras, or services with superior customer support, these improvements represent a quality-adjusted price increase, not just inflation. The perceived or actual improvement in the quality and value of goods and services plays a significant role in driving higher prices in modern economies. Consumers typically operate under a price quality heuristic, where higher prices are often associated with superior quality, performance, or prestige. According to Simon Kucher 2024, this perception strongly influences purchasing behavior and allows firms to justify higher price points where meaningful improvement are introduced. As a result, many companies adopt value-based pricing strategies, setting prices according to the perceived value delivered rather than solely on production cost or competitive benchmark. As for implication, for consumer, this means becoming more value conscious. Rather than focusing only on price increases, consumers must assess whether the improved quality justify the cost. In some sectors, like electronic, quality improvement may even reduce major inflation after statistical adjustment. In certain sectors, particularly consumers electronics, quality improvements may actually reduce the effective cost over time. Products that last longer, perform better, or reduce the need for frequent replacement can deliver greater value despite higher upfront prices. In contrast, in the service sector such as hospitality, healthcare, and sustainability-driven offerings, quality improvements are often more subjective. I'll state two recommendations for businesses. The key is value-driven pricing and transparency. Companies should clearly communicate with what customers are paying for, whether it's better materials, added features, or improved service. Introducing price increase alongside visible product improvements significantly improve customer acceptance, while for consumer, the focus should shift from wants to needs, evaluating value relative to personal priorities and supporting transparent brands can help create a market that rewards quality, fairness, and honesty.